also like. So
There you go. Yeah, excellent, excellent. Okay, with that, we're gonna move on to the next topic. Should we do Lilium, Apple, or Porsche? I'll let you
how
decide.
about, since we talked about the order, so that being the case, how about you do Apple and then I'll pick up Lilium.
Okay, perfect. Yes,
Yep.
awesome. Okay, so this one is a little different, and it's only because we mentioned it way back when this first got thrown out, and it bears mentioning that anytime a major name like Apple, Google, or someone else in the big tech region gets good news, bad news, indifferent news, you want to keep a track of it, and especially when it might affect their business. And that is that Apple, this comes to you from CNBC, in their ongoing lawsuit with Epic Games. Well, there's been a judgment. Okay. And the funny thing about this judgment is it's not exactly what you think on the surface, which means Epic was petitioning the fact that they could not include their own game store inside their very famous, popular online portable game, Fortnite, which they said, hey, we should be able to
Yes.
have people come into the Fortnite game store and be able to purchase directly through us so we could cut out the middleman. And they complained to Apple and to Google. So that's notwithstanding they're just
Yep.
Apple, that this is
Yep.
probably going to affect. And they basically sued him. They said, look, you have an unfair advantage. You guys got us by the short and curlies in the fact that we have to be in the app store, but we can't name
Yeah.
our own price inside of our own internal app. And basically, he went to court. And so Apple won. Here's the interesting part. There was 10 decisions being handed down by this court. Okay. And this is by Judge Yvonne Gonzalez Rogers. Okay. And what ended up happening was he said that basically out of the 9 of the 10, Apple won 9, but the 10th one that they lost was that Apple will no longer be allowed to prohibit developers from providing links or other communications that direct users away from Apple in-app purchasing. Okay. And Apple typically takes 15 to 30% on this. Now, here's the caveat. Apple all along was trying to kind of come to some sort of solution with Epic. They were saying, hey, we'll allow you to email customers directly and basically put a link in there to your side stores. We're trying to figure out a way to work around this. But in essence, what basically happened here was they said, look, you can't have it both ways. These guys do have the ability, if they're going to make a product, they do have the ability to showcase within their own product their ability to sell their own wares. Now, here's the thing. Apple has not appealed the decision. Epic Games has, because I'm assuming out of the other 9 accounts that are actually in this decision, there's other things that are embedded there that they feel were critical towards them having a landfall decision and giving them the ability to control their direction of their own business. So for you, Corey, I asked the question: if it's happening to Apple, what's going to be the deal with Google, and what's going to be the deal with this space? Because massively online playing games in the phone universe are huge. They're big money. And, the gaming consumption habits of people have changed where they expect the game for free, but the content to be paid for through microtransactions. So it's a little different. What do you think?
Yeah, it's interesting because if you read more about this, there's a whole bunch of little like information nuggets that are interesting in there. They talked about trying to even define what a game is, and there wasn't a solid consensus on what a game is.
Okay.
Because the director of Epic was talking about how a game has competition and there's like a goal and it has an ending, and then in the ruling that definition wasn't used, so there's even some discrepancy there of like what a game is. So again, as you kind of mentioned, there's more probably going on that Epic wanted, which again was just talking about the appeal. So there's maybe more things that have a longer term effect than just this one thing. However, like you said, this is pretty big. I dare say it's pretty epic, right? Because yeah, I had to throw it in there, right?
You're
'Cause
doing it.
we got all
You're
the
just doing
dad
it
jokes
like
here.
on
Yep.
purpose now. So go ahead.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, well, yeah, but the fact that you asked me earlier about about Google, because obviously if you guys don't know, Mike is an Apple user and I happen to be on the Android ecosystem. But anyway, I can say if I was forced to if I was playing a game or even an app, let's say on my phone that I got through Google Play, the
Right.
marketplace on Google. And in that, they offered extra features for maybe in that app or the game that I could buy from within the game, or go to the website and buy their personal homepage and then get them cheaper. And then Apple or Google's telling me I couldn't do that. That would be upsetting because it may be such a case that I couldn't get the app from somewhere else.
Right.
Because again, the average user, and I'll generalize a little bit here, but the average user probably isn't going to either know how to or want to sideload apps on their device.
Unless you have a
And
Quest.
there are reasons that you might want to try that too, because of security for viruses and things. If you sideload apps, you might get something you didn't really want to get. So there's certainly advantages to getting an app through a marketplace interface like Google Play or the App Store on iPhones.
Absolutely.
So it's a bit harder to unpack all this, as you'd say. So yeah, it's interesting to see.
So
But nevertheless, that one count is a big is a good decision for the general consumer, let's say.
yeah, and so here's the thing. So it says here that the video game developer Apple, pays 30% of all its revenue it collected from Fortnite and iPhones and iPads through direct payments. Okay, and there's obviously big money on the line here. Okay, and that's the thing. And when you say, what is the difference between a game, or a skill set based app, or and this is the other caveat, right? If it's a word processor and you wanted to sell new fonts through your word processor, right? You still wouldn't be able to really do that if you were using it through Apple's store, right? You would still have to use the same constringent, policies that Apple has. And look, I'm not knocking it in the sense of, in a naive way. I want to make sure that people understand. I don't know all the downstream elements that take place in the circle of developers and how much money is lost or made on these microtransactions and how much it really hurts them and how much it benefits Apple. That's not really the point. It's changing the stance of two different platforms, meaning Apple and Google, and the way that they interact with their people. So, and all the time that Corey and I have been friends, never once have we both approached each other and said, you should really get this because it's on this, this, and this, and this, or you should really get that because it's on that, or this platform, right? Where am I going with this? The point of it is, it doesn't make a difference. They're the two largest user base electronic components on the face of the planet right now. And with that, they're going to have to come to some meeting of the minds with their developer base because they don't want to lose developers based on this, right? It's bad business for them to lose out on some of these bigger markets.
Mm-hmm. Not the crazy thing, kind of like you alluded to earlier, like a new system may come out. I'm talking a little bit back in the day, right? If a new console comes out and you're like, that console is super powerful, I want to play games on that. But then you realize they screwed it up and they have no developers, so they have no games you can have, and you're like, why would I buy the new system? There's nothing to play on there.
No, that's true, and that
So
speaks perfect. Yeah,
and because people hold on to their mobile devices longer now than they used to. Again, the devices are getting more powerful, more expensive, so a little bit more an investment. So Apple, Google, they want you to hold on to that iPhone longer than you used to. Google wants you to hold on to that Pixel phone or whatever, longer, because they want to get as much money out of you while you hold that device in front of you before you maybe go look at a different device.
Sure.
And if you, like, let's say if Mike's over there with his iPhone and for whatever reason he says, you know what, I'm going to go, my next phone's an Android phone. By saying that, there are so many things Apple's going to lose out on if you go, and hey, this is hypothetical. What if I said I'm going to go to Apple? If I'm going to leave Google and go to Apple, all of the things that Google gets by having advertisements on my phone or through the Play Store, all that is out the window because I'm on a new ecosystem.
Yeah,
so
my ecosystem.
So they
is
want
Apple.
you to stay there.
Yeah,
they want you to stay there as long as possible. And so yeah, I agree with you. They're gonna want to try to make this work, and of course, Fortnite is super successful anyway. If you guys are watching this and don't know what Fortnite is, it's hugely successful video game.
It's about the money. But that also is another one, is about, you said if there's not enough good games for it, no one's going to come there. And look, to follow a very successful platform, Steam. Okay, Steam has done very, very well in this environment, and they've also had their ability to have these discussions with their developers, and they're developer concentric, and that has enabled Steam to go back and make a gaming platform for Steam Deck, right?
That's true.
So it works both ways here, folks. So this conversation is going to be ongoing, but I want to see what's going to happen with the fallout with Google. That's going to be the next hat to drop in that arena. So, all right, folks. Hey, like, subscribe, follow. Let us know what you think in the comments below, whether or not Apple and Google can survive this ongoing battle with Epic and their developers, and who's going to be the ultimate winner in the long-term money war about how much money it's going to make and how people stay successful on those platforms. Let us know in the comments below. We'll be looking forward to hearing from you. Okay,